What up, guys? It's your brother Joe here, and it's F1 2020, my team career mode, round 12. Now, first off, we're looking at another secondary sponsor for the team. We've got 3 of those now. Hopefully soon we'll be able to get on the 4th one, but I think that will happen at Season 2. And speaking of Season 2, we're also looking at drivers and just watching a few that I may be interested in for a teammate. I'm looking at Guan Yu Zhou, and I'm also looking at Antoine Hubert. Just in case, it doesn't work out with Mick Schumacher for whatever reason. Now we head to an invitational event. There's a few of these that you'll find in career mode, and what they do, basically it's an event where you drive in one of the classic cars, and there's a lot of money and a lot of acclaim up for grabs if you win it, and they pretty much set it up for you to win it. Like, they're not that difficult at all if you are pretty knowledgeable at the game. And in fact, I found this one a little bit challenging. I made it in the nick of time there, but these invitational events, they'll come up so often, and they're worth, I think it's something like £150,000 or dollars or in-game currency, whatever you want to call it, and 1,000 acclaim, which goes towards your score in career mode. So overall, not a bad thing at all for those, and it is more worth doing them than not doing them. And you can see there the amount of money and acclaim that's earned. Now we head to the British Grand Prix, our home race at Silverstone. And this is the last race I will be using this particular livery at. We've got a whole new livery coming for Hungary. And I'm qualifying now. And as you can see there, my first lap I made a bit of a mistake. So I abandoned it, did another lap. It was only good enough for 20th. So we're now on a second lap. And I'm just not improving, we just don't seem to have a lot of pace around here, if any. And the AI just seems to be ridiculously quick. But it's P20. That's where we're starting. We'll have to see what we can make from this.
Great Britain, then, one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every single year of the Formula One World Championship. And the circuit extends that record further for today's Grand Prix. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course, you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Max Verstappen and Albon, Ricciardo, Perez, Sainz and Lance Stroll, Kvyat, Norris, Esteban Ocon and Gasly, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Kimi Raikkonen and George Russell. Oldtimer, Schumacher, Latifi and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. It's almost time for the light.
Don't take unnecessary risks.
So we move up to 19th as a result of a grid penalty. We're on the grid at Silverstone. We've got George Russell straight ahead of us. I'm wanting to get past him as quickly as possible. So lights out and away we go. We're making a move to the left-hand side of the circuit. We can't get to the inside. But actually, going on the outside has allowed us to pick up a few positions. We pretty much barged Esteban Ocon out the way. We've moved up to 12th so far. Well, now it's 13th because Lando Norris is having a look in. But he doesn't get to have that much of a look in because now we're up into 12th. Going around the outside of him, and now we're on the rear of Kvyat and Stroll. Both of them are side by side. Sainz has boxed in Kvyat, and that's not helping him out at all. They're side by side round Brooklands, and we go round Luffield then, and we just dive up the inside, and we take them both. We're into 10th, and I wish I could say that this would be where we would stay. Unfortunately, this will be as good as it gets in terms of this race, because the one thing I found round here, and I don't know if they've patched this since the game, because I recorded this pretty much a week after the game came out. Like, I was just recording career mode race after career mode race. And I found that the AI around certain circuits, and particularly this one, just seemed OP as fudge. Like, they were just ridiculously OP. You couldn't even challenge them or battle them, I was finding round here. And I don't know if it was something I was doing wrong, or whether, you know, there was an issue with the car that I wasn't aware of. But we just weren't able to fight the AI off at all. Their pace was ridiculous. Stroll there getting past us as if we're taking a stroll. But I mean, I admit here this was my mistake. I went wide at Luffield and that allowed Ocon through. But elsewhere, I can't see where we were really going too wrong for them to be that much faster than us, because a lap or so later, they're absolutely gone. And then there's Giovinazzi going up my inside. Cars are just passing me left, right and centre, and I'm not able to hold position. I've got a train of cars behind me, and we're just struggling massively for that outright pace. So I don't know what it quite was with this race. I was tempted, to be fair, with the lack of pace we had, to just sort of think, well, do I retire and save the engine, or do I just carry on and see what we can pick up? And obviously with my team, I do believe you get additional money just for finishing the race. So I just thought, you know what, let's finish it here. But look, 2 cars just getting past me on the Hangar Straight there. Another one up my inside. I made sure I gave him space. I think I gave him a little too much space there. But Magnussen and Schumacher, my teammate of all people, all over my rear. So, I mean, did they have a bigger upgrade, or did I just... I don't know, is there something with the AI that makes them a bit too quick around Silverstone? Who knows at this point? Who knows? Maybe for Season 2 it'll rectify, or maybe there was something that I missed. But here we are, going down the Hangar Straight. Magnussen just going past us. I tried to dive back past him, but Magnussen there just ducking me back on the cutback. And, well, at this point, I've decided to pit in, go on the medium tyres for the rest of the race, and just hope that we don't end up last. That was my ambition at this point, that we don't finish last. It just wasn't a good race at all. And we're pushing again to try and catch up to Lando, but I think it's a bit of a futile exercise. And here, you know, we're just about hanging on to Schumacher at the beginning of this phase on our tyre, and there's just no pace. There is literally no pace. It's so weird. What is happening here? But now we come on to the closing few laps of the race, and at this point I'm just getting fed up and I'm not losing any further places. I'm in P18 and I'm defending Grosjean extremely aggressively, and I will admit I was just losing my cool here. You know, this was such a demoralising race to partake in, where you're giving it your all, and all it was good enough for was 17th, which it was 18th, but became 17th. Someone retired. I'm defending Grosjean here, and I admit I defended him a little too hard, because what actually happened there was, well, I went into Grosjean hit the wall, and Russell became collateral damage, and I admit that was completely my fault. Frustration just kicked in there as I was defending against Grosjean, and I do apologise. But what can I do? This race just wasn't good enough. We got P17, still not the worst finish we've had this season, but it's on par with it. And yeah, we need more upgrades. We need to get this car moving forwards again. This was unacceptable.
Plenty of action here at Silverstone. It was a memorable race, and what an impressive victory. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. And after this round of
Well, Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas taking a very comfortable Mercedes 1-2. Then it's Ferrari 3 and 4 and Red Bull 5 and 6. Yeah, I don't want to talk about my race. It was abysmal. But Mick Schumacher then beating me for the first time this season. And, well, like I said, we just didn't have any outright pace around here at all. And I don't know if it's the AI... something to do with the AI going fast around here, because I didn't modify the difficulty. The difficulty is what it's always been all through this career mode, which is 90. Well, I'll leave you with the highlights reel. Thank you so much for watching this race. Join me for the next one, and I'll see you guys real soon. Take care.